Put your faith in the light.
Hello guys, welcome to another one of my videos. This is Lightblade. Well guys, in this video we're gonna make a tier list of the best Covenant and double legendary combos for Retribution Paladins. So we're gonna make it a bit different this time because we're gonna insert a bit of humor in this video. So even though it's a serious information, we're gonna put some humor in it. So let's not beat around the bush and let's go into the tier list. Okay guys, we're here at the tier list. So let's start with this. First of all, let's start with the strongest of our covenants and the best one that we can use to get double legendaries effects. That also synergizes very well with our tier set, and this is drums please. No surprise, it's KYRIAN. KYRIAN is our S tier for this list. They are just too powerful, their soulbinds are just too strong. Even Kleya, that's the weakest soulbind from the Kyrians, is better than any of the other soulbinds from other of the covenants. They are just too big of a chance to pass out. Even in 9.2, they will still reign supreme unless changes are made. So now let's go into what do you want to take if you are a red paladin in the Kyrian Covenant in next patch. Okay guys, so for KYRIAN, the combos you want to take on single target, you want to take Divine Resonance plus your Final Verdict. This will give you big single target damage because it's double buffing your Templar's Verdicts. The next combo in AoE, this is your main Mythic Plus tools, Divine Resonance and Tempest of the Lightbringer. This is just a really good combo because Divine Resonance gives you more Holy Power so you can spam more Tempest of the Lightbringer procs from your Divine Storms. And if you want to go in between both and deal some single target damage and some AoE damage, you can go Divine Resonance plus Dusk and Dawn. The only problem with this combo is that you won't excel at any of the two things. So if you want to go just kind of in the middle of the stuff, you can pick this combo. Now let's go back to the tier list. Okay guys, we're back at the tier list, and for the next option we have the NECROLORDs. The NECROLORDs are the closest thing to viable while still being a meme that we have and will still be like that in 9.2. This is because the NECROLORD don't really synergize really well with the new set bonuses that we get, because their ability, the hammer thingy they throw, doesn't actually scale off mastery, and we got a lot of mastery from Seraphim procs on the 2 set on our tier set bonuses. They do have also a weird damage profile, which is priority damage. That isn't really valuable in shallow lands at the moment you want to do, or plain single target or plain AoE blanket damage, you know. This might change if we get for example an affix that wants you to do like priority damage, but if nothing changes, NECROLORD will be a B tier next patch. Now let's go to what do you want to use with your NECROLORD legendary as a combo. Okay, so for all of you 3% NECROLORD players of Retribution out there, these are your options of double legendaries 9.2. Single target, you want to go Duty Bound Gavel with Final Verdict, more single target damage, spicy. For AoE, you want to go Duty Bound Gavel with Tempest of the Lightbringer, also more AoE damage. In between both, if you want to not specialize in anything, you can go Duty Bound Gavel and of Dusk and Dawn. It will give you a nice 6%, almost 90% of the time bonus, which is pretty decent for both options. So that's the NECROLORD. As you can see, they use basically the same legendary combos as the Retribution Kyrian Paladin, but with the downside that they don't double dip on their Covenant specific legendary like the Kyrians do. So on the other side, on the bright side though, NECROLORDs do have a bit more resistance than Kyrian Red Paladin, so you will be at least a bit more tanky, even though you don't do as much damage as the Kyrian ones. Now let's go back to the tier list. Okay guys, we're back at the tier list. So here we're gonna rank the next Covenant and the Covenant legendary combos, and this one is the VENTHYR. So I'm gonna put the VENTHYR in D tier of don't move the mobs out of my circle please, or I won't do any damage. So the VENTHYR Paladin has that problem that most hunters have, that tanks move away their things out of the circle, and so they don't do damage. And your Covenant specific legendary basically works only to fix that problem, because whenever you move outside your circle, you get some of the cooldown refounded of your Ashen Hallow. Basically, it's fixing the mistake of your tank moving away too fast, giving you your Ashen Hallow in a few minutes back. Great. But anyways, it doesn't synergize with anything else Retribution Paladin does, with the exception of single target and some Hammer of Wrath shenanigans that we will be talking when we get to the part of legendaries. So if you're a Venti boy, I got bad news. If you want to play Retribution Paladins, you can pick other covenants. It's better. You won't have to worry about that big circle and moving out of it. So now let's go to the double legendary combos that you can use as a VENTHYR Paladin if you decide to suffer. Okay guys, so for all you VENTHYR Paladins out there that want to play it in 9.2, these are your legendary combos. As you can see, there's a lot of overlapping legendaries that we're going to use in different single target AoE and in between. That's because a lot of the VENTHYR combos actually don't care if it's single target AoE, they will do the damage. So let's talk about the single target focused combos first. Radiant Embers plus Vanguard's Momentum. This means you will have more Hammer of Wrath. And since Ashen Hallow increases the damage of your Hammer of Wrath, it will do more damage. The next one is Mad Paragon. Mad Paragon is the only synergy that VENTHYR Paladin has with Retribution VENTHYR has with Retribution Paladins, because the Mad Paragon does increase damage on Holy Hammer of Wrath, and Ashen Hallow also does the same thing, so multiplicative damage stacks really well. So that's why in single target VENTHYR is pretty decent. Now let's go to AoE. So for AoE, you want to take Radiant Embers, and you can also pick the Mad Paragon because this legendary only increases the duration of your wings, which do AoE and single target damage, doesn't matter. You can also pick Tempest of the Lightbringer if you want that extra uncapped AoE damage, although it's one of the weakest options in AoE. And you can also pick Vanguard's Momentum. Vanguard's Momentum will, as I said before, increase the holy damage that you do, and it stacks up to 3 times, which is pretty decent if you can keep up the debuff. In between both. So in between there's only one new addition, because there's 2 legendaries that overlap already on single target and AoE, and that is the of Dusk and Dawn. Dusk and Dawn is pretty decent because it gives you 6% extra damage almost all the time if you can actually manage your holy power to always get 5 holy power before you do anything, and you get the 6% extra damage all the time. Other than that, you can also use Vanguard's Momentum and the Mad Paragon in between both. As you can see, VENTHYR has a lot of options and legendaries that you can make. The only problem is that the one that I said at the start, being in your circle. If you have to move outside that circle, it's problematic because you're losing a lot of damage. Also, you want to do really big pulls with VENTHYR Retribution Paladin, so you get the most out of your Ashen Hallow. So because it not only does damage, it also heals your group. So basically you're investing a healing cooldown as well as a damage cooldown on your group that can make easier to pull off like really big pulls. But it loses a lot of flexibility, and it doesn't double dip as the KYRIAN Retribution Paladin does in its Covenant Legendary. So that's the combos for all you guys that want to play VENTHYR. Now let's go back to the tier list. Okay guys, we're back at the tier list, and now we're gonna rank our last covenant, and this is the NIGHTFAE Retribution Paladin and the combos that it can use. So basically I didn't know where to put the NIGHTFAE Retribution Paladin, so I had to make a new rank for it, and this is the rank where I'll put it. NIGHTFAE Retribution Paladins are VENTHYR Boomy buff bots. Basically,
what is my purpose?
You buff the VENTHYR Boomy.
Oh my god.
So as you can see, Retribution Paladins that go NIGHTFAE aren't really a whole character. They need someone else to put the buff on. Because even though the buff, you can put it on yourself, it's not very useful on yourself. It does really low damage if you put the Equinox buff on a Retribution Paladin. You need really another person that can do damage so you can actually use the buff, you know. So let's go now with what legendaries NIGHTFAE Retribution Paladins can use. Okay guys, let's talk about the NIGHTFAE legendary combos. So, a small disclaimer for this covenant. The legendaries that you're going to pick in the second slot don't synergize at all with the covenant legendary from the NIGHTFAE covenant. So basically they are just stat sticks to increase your personal damage. If you're a NIGHTFAE paladin, you will give this buff to other people because it's not useful on ourselves, which is really sad, but it's the hard truth that NIGHTFAE paladins have to live with. So now let's go to the combos. Single target, Seasons of Plenty plus Final Verdict. AoE, you want to use Seasons of Plenty plus Tempest of the Lightbringer. In between both, you can use Seasons of Plenty on plus of Dusk and Dawn, or the Mad Paragon. Both are valid options. Like I said before, these are mostly stat sticks. They don't have any synergy with us whatsoever in the NIGHTFAE Covenant. And well, guys, if you like the supportive style of the NIGHTFAE Paladin, there you go, guys. These are the options that you can take. But I'm warning you guys, it's not a very glamorous life. You won't be doing the big damage. You will be helping other people do the big damage. But if you ask me, that's not a really fun life to live, you know? So, well, guys, that's the end of the video. I hope this information was useful to you and you had a small laugh at least on the humorous parts I put in. So if you like more content like this, please leave a like to the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone.